So I'm Simon Iredale. Some of you might know me from running one of the biggest agencies in the Northwest for the last 20 years. I don't do that anymore. I'm now consultant and work as head of brand digital for a large internet firm putting internet into the slums of Africa, and have a big app business and various other things. So I was asked to come along today to talk about customer experience. Having seen David and Conrad's presentations, they're going to talk a lot about the on-page piece, which is great and fabulous and definitely needed. But I've spent the last 20 years, I guess, bridging the gap between digital and humans. And I've always because I came from pre-digital, this is how old I am, because I came from pre-digital, I've always been really passionate about humans and human psychology and the cognitive process that goes into buying things. So whilst I am very much a digital person, my chat today is going to be much more about humans and my passion for delivering outstanding, remarkable customer experience. So I'm going to start off just by talking about one of my heroes. I'm a bit of a golfer, a bad golfer, but I'm a bit of a golfer. And back in 1993, one of the most remarkable golfers in the world, a guy called Severino Ballesteros, was stood on the 18th at a golf course called Cran-sur-Sierre in Switzerland, and it was the Amiga Masters. And he was having a pretty bad day of it. He was on the 13th, he was 5 shots behind, but then Seve being Seve, he went on and birdied the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, and then the 17th, to leave him 1 shot off the lead going on to the last hole. So he stood on the 18th and he hit a drive, and unfortunately it veered off to the right. I know that shot very well. It veered off to the right into the woods and landed about 10 foot away from a big brick wall. His caddy, Billy Foster, who is quite a blunt, outspoken Yorkshireman, can't think who he reminds me of, thought that was it. The championship was over. Take your medicine, chip out, and take a shot to the green, have a couple of putts, and we might come second, third, or fourth. But Seve being Seve went down onto his knees, and there's a very famous photograph of Seve going down on his knees and looking up into this massive blanket of trees and branches, and spots a 12-inch diameter hole through the trees. And bearing in mind, through these trees was a swimming pool, over the wall was a swimming pool and a house and a car park, everything that you don't want in front of you when you're playing a golf shot. So Billy says, no, Seve, you're not taking that shot. You're not doing that shot, you need to chip out to the side. And Seve said, no. This is how Billy says it, by the way, so apologies for the accent. No, I can see the shot, Seve being Seve gets his club, he takes the shot, and it goes through this dinner-sized plate hole in the trees, lands just short of the green, and then Seve chips in for his birdie. Didn't win the competition, but it just proved what remarkable, ingenious, creative person Seve was. And it is now well noted as probably the most remarkable shot in golf, and it's very well documented. So what's that got to do with customer experience? Well, I believe it's got everything to do with customer experience, because Seve just wanted to win. The title of my talk is The Subtle Art of Giving an FUCK. Play on the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an FUCK. But Seve did give an FUCK. He just wanted to win. He was passionate. He would do anything he possibly could to ensure that he got where he wanted to be. When he was asked afterwards, why did you play that shot? He said, because I needed to continue going forward. He didn't care about whether he made a bad shot. He just wanted to win, and he would do everything he could to win. You see, golf should be really, really easy, because everything's written down in books, isn't it? So, because we live in this digital world, we're in this world of learning where we're all taught, we know how things should be done now. I know how to make the perfect carrot cake because it's on the internet, and people tell you how to make the perfect carrot cake. People tell you how to do the perfect golf shot. So you sit there, you put this V in your hand, pointing up towards your shoulder, like that, you stick your bum out, you swing your club like this, and it's all there. Thousands of videos telling you how to do the perfect golf shot. It's all written down in books. Yet people like me go out on a weekend or on the weekend, try to do this and try to follow what's written in a book, and it doesn't quite work out. And that's the problem. See, you follow things in books, and it's all the human bit comes into play. Us humans, we're all made of skin and bones and flesh and things like that, and it doesn't quite work out. And this is where you need your ingenuity, you need your passion, you need your creativity. You need to go above and beyond what is written in books. And this is what I'm finding and I'm struggling with now in business, because we do live in this digital world. Everything that people talk about is kind of just the digital bit, and everything is written down. We all know how to do business now because there's thousands of coaches out there. There's thousands of websites out there telling us how to do business. We've all got our Simon Sinek whys, and if you haven't, then you probably need your Simon Sinek why you exist as a business. If you read Jim Collins, you've all got the right people in the right seats on the bus. We've all got our coffee machines. We've all got our mission statements on our wall. We've all got our operating systems that run and operate our business. You know, and all the bean counters and all the financial people think this is wonderful because you're proving everything. And the stuff you're going to hear from the guys later is all about proving those small marginal gains. The CRO and the A/B testing and all that stuff to prove everything is working perfectly. The problem is if we're all following these rules, we're all following these same books, then what does that mean for us as a business? Look at websites. Websites is a really, really good example of this. We all follow the rules of what makes a perfect website. We know what makes a perfect website because we've got people like David and Conrad telling us that this is how you A/B test this page, and this is the outcomes. This is where you need this picture. This is where you need this text. This is what messages you need to say. This is the maximum amount of words you need on the page. The problem with that is that all websites are now starting to look the same. Most websites now have a little banner across the top with the logo top left. They have the big image across the middle with a big statement across it. We have some text going down the page, and we know that's the right way to build websites. We're even told how to do social media. We know that 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon is the right time to post social media because that's when you get the most engagement, which is great. But what happens if everybody's doing that? What happens if everybody's doing their social media posts at 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon? What does that mean then if everybody's doing the same thing? It all just becomes really, really boring. We all start turning into like a green apple inside of a massive box of green apples. There's no differentiation anymore. You know, if Sevi just followed the rules and just did what he was supposed to do, which was just chip out to the side, he probably wouldn't have did what he was as successful as he could have been. But Sevi didn't want to follow the rules. He wanted to go through that little hole in the trees and perform something unique and different and creative and human. See, customer experience is everything to do with the end-to-end of your business. Absolutely, it's got a lot to do with your digital platform and how you get that performing really, really well. And the stuff that David and Conrad are going to talk to you about is incredibly important. But customer experience for me is the full end-to-end piece, how people interact with you as a business. You see, if you were just dealing with me personally, because I'm a single person, I'm a consultant, you know what experience you're going to get. You're going to deal with me, you speak to me, I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to engage with each other, we'll email each other, we'll have a conversation, and I will hopefully deliver on what you're expecting me to deliver on. Now, that bundled together is the experience. I haven't got a particularly good website, I've just got me and the brands I've worked for. But my customer experience is dealing with me. The problem comes when you're in a big organisation. How does a big organisation, or even a small organisation with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 staff, how do they then provide an end-to-end customer experience? Well, in my world, I try to break it down into the 5 areas, because your customer experience comes from your brand, it comes from your marketing, it comes from your sales, it comes from your service, and it comes from your platforms. Where platform is your shop or your restaurant or your hotel or your website or wherever somebody engages with you. And because it comes from all of those areas, my belief is that we should be paying as much attention about the customer experience in all of those areas, just as much as we should be paying the attention about the stuff that happens on the page as well. Because that's what business is. It's all about creating experiences, isn't it? So what I'd like to try and do is, as I am me in in a one-to-one relationship, businesses need to create a customer experience avatar for themselves. What does it look like to deal with our business? I know what it's like to deal with Simon, but what is it like to deal with our business? We've all got customer avatars that we write, or you should have customer avatars because it's written in a book. You should have customer avatars about your customers, about who you would ideally like to deal with. We want to deal with this demographic profile here, and they drive this car, and they've got this much money. These are their hobbies, this is where they live, blah, blah, blah. Notwithstanding demographic profiling and building out lots of demographic profiles. We all have our customer avatars, don't we? So so that tells us who we want to deal with. But do those people want to deal with us? And that's the question. We don't have anything, or most businesses I speak to don't have anything in place that shows this is what we want to look like to our customer. This is the experience through brand and marketing and through sales and through service and through platforms. This is the experience, this is the avatar that we want people to see and want people to interact with. I've just spent the last 3 days in full-on torment and hell dealing with BT. I've never, ever had a good experience of dealing with BT. My experience of BT is one of absolute and utter shock and horror. I hope there's nobody here from BT. Their customer experience avatar to me is like awful. I don't want to deal with that person, so I don't. So I've moved everything to Sky. So what is your customer experience avatar? How are you building everything that you can do into that avatar? Nowadays we can investigate everything about our customers. We can look into their buying habits. We can look into all the intelligence, the artificial intelligence. We also need to do that for ourselves. We need to understand who we are as a business and deliver a customer experience on all of those different areas. See, customer experience to me can't ever be sort of brought down to one simple single thing. As I said right at the start, I used to run one of the largest digital agencies in the Northwest, and we did lots of split testing, multivariate testing. We did lots of on-page optimization. We did lots of CRO. We did lots of analysis. We did hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of PPC, paid media advertisements. We did all of that stuff, yet we didn't do anything for ourselves. I ran a really successful business, a multi-million-pound business that was very, very successful, yet we didn't spend a penny on advertising. We didn't have any salespeople. We had no sales strategy. Our website was really poor. Our marketing was awful. Dofo's marketing is really good, by the way, but our marketing was really, really awful. We didn't do anything in social media at all. I think our last post was 2 years ago when I left the business. And the reason we didn't do any of that is because we didn't need to do it. We were a perfect example of shoemaker's shoes. Yet, every year, we would turn away hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of work. We didn't bother about our own on-page optimization. We didn't bother about our own website, our own social media. All we did was deliver for our customers and for our clients. We delivered experience, and the experience that the customer wanted. Experience really is what a customer gets from you as a business, and we delivered that. People don't come to a business like ours to buy what we're selling. People don't come to a marketing agency to buy marketing. They buy the outcome, don't they? They buy what they buy leads. They want leads, they want sales, they want growth. People don't buy a bike because they want a bike. You don't want to buy a bike. Bikes are useless. They're just a piece of metal with some rubber. They don't even stand up. Bikes are useless. You don't buy a bike because you want a bike. You buy a bike because you want to get fit. You want to cycle around. You want to be able to get to the shops. So in our agency, all we did was deliver on what our clients were expecting. And because we were so successful in a particular sector, everybody wanted to work with us. It didn't matter what our website looked like. It didn't matter what our marketing did. It was all about whether we could deliver what we promised to our clients. And if you keep delivering customer experience, then that equals more sales, doesn't it? Customer experience equals sales. And And you have to keep delivering customer experience, because in this world we live in nowadays, it's really, really easy for customers to change their mind, to want to go to work with somebody else. Everybody's sat there, if you're in a restaurant, with their hands on their pockets, ready to pull out their phones to say, this was a really, really bad meal, I didn't like it. Oh, look, there's gravy on the wall. And that's the world we live in. We live in a world of reviews. So you've got to get your customer experience right. So, look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have processes and we shouldn't have things in place and we shouldn't have models and methodologies and stuff to keep the business and the business running, but you have got to be able to not lose sight of the fact that businesses are human, and to create good experiences you need that human input. I know a really, really successful business. The company was really successful. It had a really sort of flat structure. Everyone had loads of autonomy to do what they wanted. They were all driven by the same mission for success and to drive forward. And the owners of the business left the company, and another business came in and took over. And that company implemented a very famous operating system for the business, which then put systems in place, methodology in place, rules and responsibilities, and made everything incredibly strict through the entire business. And within 3 months, 90% of the staff left the business. And then after that, about 2/3 of the clients left the business. And that's because they put an operating system in place. Not saying that you shouldn't put an operating system in place, but when it gets really restrictive, I don't think it really helps. The roles and responsibilities came into play, and all these people who had autonomy, who were fighting for the same cause, were put into a box. They were put into a box because that's what the book told you to do. That's what the operating system told the bosses to do. Oh, look, if we put them in the box and we give them these roles and responsibilities, then that's how business should work, right? Because it's written down in a book. No common sense, no passion, no creativity, no ingenuity, no flair, no innovation, no thinking outside of the box. That's not allowed. And that's a real shame, because humans want to be successful, humans want to be creative, humans want to be inventive, from a really young age. As kids, when we're babies, we say our first word, mummy or daddy or whatever we might say, and everyone claps and says, oh yeah, oh, look at that, let's take a photograph, let's share that photograph to all of our friends. He said his first word. Wow, I love this feeling. I'm going to do more of that. Hey mummy, look, I can walk. Yay, lots of round of applause. So from a really young age, as humans, we want to do things, we want to be creative, we want to perform. And by putting people into these boxes, it restricts their performance. I used to run my agency was fully autonomous. People were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. We didn't really even have a start and an end time of when people came in. People all fought for the same thing, which was for our business to win. Like Sevi, all we were bothered about was continually pushing forward. If I ever brought any processes into the business, my business partner, Steve, would go, we don't need that, we just use common sense. And he was right. Every time we tried to bring something in, Steve would reject it, much to my frustration, but he was right. We didn't need that. We just needed to deliver on what we wanted to do as a business. We had to deliver fantastic customer experience. We needed to deliver value, and we needed to deliver on what the customer wanted and what the customer paid for, which was sales and growth. I went to Harrogate a couple of weeks ago and went to Betty's Tea Rooms. I don't know if you've ever seen Betty's Tea Rooms. And I was intrigued because we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning and there were people queuing all the way around the block for Betty's Tea Rooms. So I thought, oh, we'll go and have a see what it's all about. See what the fuss is about. And it was impeccable. It was fantastic. It was amazing. They all come to you. They're all smartly dressed in the black and white outfits. They've got gloves on. They come and serve you tea in beautiful china cups. And the whole experience is wonderful. And you can see why people queue around the block. Came out of Betty's Tea Rooms and directly opposite is Cafe Nero. So I went across to Cafe Nero and I just noticed that on the window of Cafe Nero was all this, what looked like ice cream, all spread all over the window. So I thought, oh, this will be good. This will be an interesting thing to use in my talk in a couple of weeks, i.e. this one. So I went into the member of staff in the shop and I said, excuse me, I don't know if you know, but your window over there is covered in ice cream, I think it is. And the response back was, oh, I know, I've been trying to get somebody to sort it out for days. Clearly it wasn't in her job description to clean that window. And I think this is what happens in business. People just fall into the trap of following the rules, reading the book, doing everything that the book tells them to do, sticking people into boxes and not having the ingenuity, the creativity and the passion and the thought to do something outside of the box. And that is pretty much the key thing for me in business, is to allow people to do that and to be creative and to take that shot through a dinner-sized plate hole in the trees. I'm just going to leave you with one little story now, because I think it's my time up. I'm going to leave you the story now about my bank manager, who is retiring actually this week. So David Carsey Black from Handelsbanken. So I was introduced to Handelsbanken several years ago now. Business people that I knew said, use Handelsbanken, they're fantastic. They're a proper old school structure where you have proper bank manager who you can ring up and you can speak to, so none of this computer says no thing. You can ring up, you can speak to them, and immediately they'll just call you back, and he has sign off on £1 million. So if you want to borrow any money, just ring him up, and because he knows your business, he knows you, he just says, yeah, you can have that, go away. Perfect, great, we'll use him. So I went to Preston train station to get a train to London about 3-4 years ago now. Got to the train station, realised I'd forgotten my wallet. I had no wallet with me. So I didn't have my ticket, so I had no way of paying, and this is in the days before you could use your mobile phone to pay for things. So I rang David up and I said, David, I'm really stuck. I'm at Preston train station. I haven't got my wallet. Is there any way I can get some money out of a machine without my wallet, without my cards? And David said, no, there isn't, unfortunately, Simon, but if you work there, I'll be there in 10 minutes, I'll come and help. So I'm stood at the bottom of Friargate by the Preston train station, and I see David running down in his suit towards me. David came up to me, went to hand in his pocket, and he pulled out £300. He said, £300 there, Simon, will that be enough to get you to London and back? I was like, yeah, that's amazing. Wow, thank you. Yeah, definitely, yeah, that's perfect. He said, right, cool. Well, you get your train. We'll sort it out later, back to me or something, or we'll just drop some cash in, or a check. Anything will do. You just get your train. So I got my train and I went to London, and then I did one of my YouTube videos, put my headphones in, walking around London, telling people about this Handelsbanken experience, about what David had done, and it went viral. And it was picked up by Handelsbanken, and Handelsbanken now use that story as part of their customer experience talk when they do like big conferences, about how to delight the customer and how to always think outside of the box and how to be creative, but to fundamentally do one thing and one thing alone, which is to completely and utterly delight the customer. And that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the customer, because the customer delivers sales, and without sales, you don't have a business. So my opinion is, be more like Sevi, or like David. That's me.